It's one of the new 7 wonders of the world, a breathtaking symbol of love and devotion, and it's filled with secrets. Even 4 centuries after it was built, the Taj Mahal still has a few surprises. The Taj Mahal is all about the visuals. It was never merely a symbol of Shah Jahan's love for his wife. It's also a symbol of his power and the supremacy of the Mughal Empire. As such, it's one of the most successful building projects in the history of the world. But even people who visited the Taj can miss some of the most brilliant aspects, like the fact that the entire structure is designed to fool the eye. When you enter the main gateway at the complex, the Taj Mahal appears to be framed in the entrance and looks enormous. But as you move closer, the structure seems to shrink, the exact opposite of what you'd expect. Another optical illusion involves the minarets. There's 4 towers at each corner of the tomb. They appear to be perfectly straight, but are angled outward. This actually makes the monument look balanced to the eye. It was also done to protect the tomb itself. If the minarets were to collapse, their slight outward lean would send the rubble away from the main building. Even a casual glance at a photograph of the Taj Mahal makes it seem like it's all about symmetry. The central dome is surrounded by 4 smaller domes, then the 4 minarets, and at each end of the main complex, a pair of red sandstone buildings mirror each other. Mirroring is incorporated into the overall layout of the entire complex. Even the water features on the grounds are designed to reflect the tomb, doubling everything perfectly. But there's one jarring exception. When you enter the tomb and come to the room of Shah Jahan's and Mumtaz Mahal's cenotaphs, you'll find that while Mumtaz Mahal's is perfectly centered in the room, Shah Jahan's is off-center. Considering how much effort went into the harmony and balance of the monument, the exception is impossible to ignore. There's speculation that the reason behind the asymmetry is that Shah Jahan never intended to have his remains placed there. Some believe that he intended to build a black Taj Mahal as a mirror image across from the existing monument, but was deposed and imprisoned by his son before he could get it done. Obviously, it's a massive structure, and make no mistake, it's heavy. When planning something this huge, you have to begin by calculating the load the foundation will bear. The Taj's main dome weighs 12,000 tons by itself, so the foundations were carefully constructed to be deep and strong, made out of stone, masonry, and timber. That's right, a big part of the foundations holding up the Taj Mahal are made from wood that was initially laid down nearly 400 years ago. The reason the wooden foundations have survived so long is because the monument is built on the banks of the Yamuna River. Because the wood is immersed in water, it never has a chance to dry out, rot, or split. But the water table around the Taj Mahal has been declining for decades, and the foundation may be in serious jeopardy. Featuring white marble originally inlaid with precious stones and sumptuously decorated, the building is a marvel of beauty and artistic ambition. The gardens surrounding it are equally extravagant and visually striking. There's a reason, in other words, that millions of people make the trip to Agra every year to see it in person.
It took Shah Jahan 22 years to get it completed.
And it took you 22 years to get me here.
Yes, because I was getting it done.
Many visitors may be unaware that the coffin-like objects on the main level are empty monuments known as cenotaphs, representing the mortal remains of Shah Jahan and his wife. The actual tombs are on a lower level, decorated much more simply. This is because Muslim tradition frowns upon extravagant grave markers. In fact, large tombs also contradict Orthodox Hindu teachings, making an extravagance like the Taj Mahal doubly offensive in India. The solution of placing elaborate cenotaphs on the upper level and the more sedate, respectful actual gravesites below is another example of the extreme attention to detail that went into creating the Taj. The Taj Mahal is decorated with floral patterns, geometric designs, and a wide variety of delicate stone and tile work throughout. But one of the most impressive decorative elements is the calligraphy. The calligraphy was designed by Amanat Khan and is primarily quotations from the Quran. The inscription over the main gate as you approach the tomb reads, "O soul, you are at rest. Return to the Lord in peace with him, and he at peace with you." At first glance, it might look like it's been painted on by hand, but it's actually inlaid stone. Khan designed the lettering and oversaw the artisans who cut and fitted the black marble pieces. At the time, this was seen as transcribing the Word of God. But God's words or not, Khan took the unusual step of signing his work, and not just once. The phrase, written by the insignificant being Amanat Khan Shirazi, appears significantly several times below the inscriptions. There's an almost invisible imperfection here. The main dome, sometimes called the onion dome due to its shape, is wonky. At its widest point, it's actually about 5.5% off from perfect symmetry. When academic Dilip Ahuja first noticed the asymmetry in the 1980s, no one wanted to believe him, so he took a photo of the dome, cut it out, and folded it in half. The two halves didn't align. There are several theories as to why the imperfection was allowed, ranging from the Islamic practice of introducing deliberate errors to honor God to the simple explanation that the builders just messed up. With its soaring minarets and pointed domes, the Taj Mahal seems lighter than several tons of stone could possibly be. This effect is amplified by the way the domes taper to points at the top and are capped with finials, thin ornamental spires. The most notable finial sits atop the main dome, but it isn't original. The original finial was made of solid gold and stood 33 feet high, but it was replaced with a bronze replica in the early 19th century. There's no record of why this happened, but the Taj Mahal was a frequent target of plunder and theft over the years. The British even schemed at one point to tear down the whole monument and sell the marble for profit. The gold finial may have simply been stolen, or maybe it's hidden somewhere for safekeeping. If you were able to travel through time and visit the Taj Mahal a few hundred years ago, you would be greeted with a much different scene. As explained by landscape architect Lohita Gupta, the gardens originally designed and cultivated around the tomb were laid out in Islamic style. The land was divided into quadrants and represented paradise on earth, with a lot of water features and trees. But after the death of Shah Jahan, the gardens were left largely unattended for nearly 2 centuries. When the British Raj occupied India in the 19th century, their first big idea for the Taj Mahal was to break it up and sell off the stone. The plan supposedly only fell through because it couldn't find a buyer.
I was getting a little bored of the Taj Mahal.
But they weren't done messing with the monument. The British then destroyed many of the gardens and other structures around the Taj in order to have a clear line of sight for their military forces. Finally, George Nathaniel Curzon, 1st Marquess Curzon of Kettleston, Lord Curzon to his friends, was named Viceroy of India in 1895. He made restoring the Taj Mahal and its grounds a priority, but he didn't take the idea of restoring literally. He constructed British-type gardens. The trees were removed and groomed lawns were installed. The end result is similar to formal gardens found in the UK and elsewhere in the British Empire. Most people accept the history and provenance of the Taj Mahal as written. Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned it to be the burial place of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal and as a symbol of his power. Its near-perfect symmetry and legendary beauty is a testament to love and devotion. But not everyone believes that. There's a conspiracy theory out there that the Taj Mahal was actually built many centuries earlier than is commonly believed, that the Indian government is covering up the truth, and that there are secret sealed lower levels that no one is allowed into that would reveal the truth. This theory has its roots in a book written by right-wing historian P.N. Oak. Oak claimed the structure had been built by Hindu rulers as a temple called the Taj Mahal. He says that Shah Jahan then seized the temple after a battle, renaming it. And apparently, Oak wrote a number of books claiming that famous Muslim-built monuments and buildings were actually built by Hindus, leaning into the ongoing friction between the Hindu and Muslim populations of India. Probably a good time to also bring up that Oak thought both Christianity and Islam were rooted in Hinduism, to the point that the Vatican was actually created as a tribute to Shiva. So yeah, but if true, it would have to be the biggest conspiracy in history, getting the entire population of a country to agree to lie about when a huge edifice was actually built. But hey, nice try, Mr. Oak. Every interior space has what's known as a reverberation time, the length of time it takes for echoes to become inaudible. And you can actually design a room to either prolong or shorten the reverberation time. So it shouldn't come as a shock that a structure as meticulously planned as the Taj Mahal has a very specific reverberation time. Of course it does, and it happens to be exactly 28 seconds. The echo was incorporated into the design with the idea that prayers offered up to the tomb's occupant, Mumtaz Mahal, would multiply and linger in the air. Modern-day musicians have sought out the Taj Mahal's main dome for its precise reverberation time. From the 1960s to 1990s, jazz flutist Paul Horn released several albums recorded inside ancient spaces, including the Taj Mahal. Horn apparently had to smuggle a tape recorder into the monument, where he used the echo to tremendous effect. The design and construction of the Taj Mahal in the 17th century was a triumph of Mughal architecture and artistry, and the careful planning results in a long list of amazing effects, from optical illusions to a precisely timed echo. One of the most striking of these takes all day and some patient observation to truly appreciate. The tomb actually changes color throughout the day.
It appears pink in the morning, white during the day, and takes on a golden hue at night.
And it even appears blue in the brighter moonlit evenings. Unfortunately, the Taj Mahal is also literally changing colors, something that despite all their forethought, the creators could never have imagined. The white marble is being assaulted by pollution and insect waste. It has already turned yellow and is slowly becoming brown and green despite years of efforts to reduce nearby traffic and clean the stone.